Hey guys, Michael B. the Game Genie here, and welcome back to my January update of my NES Complete Collection Chronicles. So guys, today is a very special update to my NES Complete Collection Chronicles because for the first time, I won't be doing it by myself. I'll be joined by a buddy. In fact, a robotic operating buddy. What in the actual Christ? Well, I'm going to be honest, that's not the robot I was talking about. In fact, the robot I was talking about was a robot for the NES. R.O.B, the Robotic Operating Buddy.
R.O.B, or the Robotic Operating Buddy, was originally sold with Nintendo's Deluxe console at launch. This was a marketing ploy to get around the stigma of video game crash from the early 80s. So what they did was they created this robot that would play along the games with you. It's something that I've always wanted and something that I'm very excited to finally have. The funny thing is, this is just going to be a display piece for me because I have no intention of actually sitting down and playing Gyromite or Stack Up with it. I actually don't have the parts for Stack Up, so I can't play that, but I do have the gyros. Who knows, maybe I'll put on Gyromite one day, but I don't really see it. I don't see myself playing it, but I finally got a R.O.B. The only thing that I'm not super happy with is if you take a look at R.O.B.'s faceplate, his eyes aren't there. There's just one beam going across. It's like he's wearing a pair of Ray-Bans or something. I don't really know what the deal is with that. Someone told me that R.O.B. actually came with two faceplates in case there was trouble reading the television screen, and I guess the faceplate that was on this one is the one that we're not familiar with. So if anybody has any information on that, please feel free to let me know why my R.O.B. doesn't have his two little beady eyes that I was hoping for.
Alright, now that that's over, we can move on to the games that I picked up this month. This month was another one of those months where I really didn't find anything here locally. I mean, December was such a huge month, I guess, just picked up everything there was here that I didn't already have. But I have amazing friends out there that I've met through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the like. And I actually got two really cool packages in the mail, and that's what I want to show you this time. First up is a package I got from my really good friend Will Santana. He's got a YouTube channel called Will Santana Films. I've talked about him before. He sent me a couple other games. And he's actually doing a complete TurboGrafx-16 collection. So if you're into the TurboGrafx-16, go check Will out. He's progressed really far with his collection really quickly, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, Will sent me two games that he saw on my list that I needed. First up is an interesting game. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I had fun playing it. Desert Commander.
Desert Commander by Kemco Saika is a military strategy game. I'm not a huge fan of military strategy games, but I've got to say this one's actually pretty fun, surprisingly so. I had a good time playing it. It's not necessarily something I'm going to play a ton of. Again, I mean, strategy-based games, even Final Fantasy Tactics, isn't necessarily my jam, but anyways, I did have a little bit of fun with this. I can see myself playing it again, but then again, military strategy games, not really my thing.
The next game from Will is an unlicensed game that I actually didn't know a whole lot about, but I'm excited to finally have in my collection. Dudes with Attitudes.
Dudes with Attitudes has to be one of the absolute weirdest kind of like puzzle games I've ever played in my entire life. The whole concept of the game is basically you play a ball that bounces back and forth, and depending on which color you go through, it changes the color that you are, so you can then attack the crystals and find the exit of the level. Really, Dudes with Attitudes? It's more like balls with colors, but okay, Dudes with Attitudes. You know what? Even though it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense and it's kind of weird, it's still kind of a fun game, so I had a lot of fun playing it for this capture.
Next up is a game that I am super excited to have finally in my collection. It's so hard to find and so uncommon that it probably ranks as probably really the most uncommon game I have right now. Up there, definitely. Anyways, the story behind this game is I met a guy through Facebook by the name of John Davey who wrote on my Facebook fan page. He actually sent me a message, and he mentioned that he had a copy of a game that I needed for my collection. And we went back and forth, and he said, you know what, man, I'm just going to send it to you. And I was like, oh, I really appreciate that, man. So anyways, he told me he was going to send it, and anyways, I never received it. It went on for a while. I think it was like a month. One came up here locally, and it went for a really good price, and I turned it down. I said, no, actually, this guy from Facebook actually said he was going to send it along. So I waited a little bit longer, never came, and I wrote him back, and he mentioned, like, I haven't had a chance to send it out yet. I'm going to send it out. So this has been going on since November. So finally, I wrote him a couple days ago. Not a couple days ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I wrote him and I said, listen, John, I really appreciate the offer that you sent it along and stuff like that, but don't feel obligated that you got to send it to me. I completely understand if you're not up to that, and I really appreciate it. And he was like, no, man, I apologize. I just haven't had a chance to send it out yet, but definitely going to send it. I'm going to send it this week. And sure enough, he did. And John, thank you so much. I know you said that you didn't really want anything for it, but if I did happen to have a GameCube Wavebird adapter, the receiver part for the controller, to send it your way. And you know what, man? I haven't found one yet, but I'm keeping my eyes open, and as soon as I find it, that's coming your way, I promise you. Anyways, you're probably wondering, well, what's this game that I'm so excited about? Well, I know that my good friends from Midwest Retro Gamers are very excited that they found a copy of this game for only $5. Well, thanks to some of the coolest people in the world, people that watch these videos and the friends that I've met, and especially John, who seems like an amazing guy and so kind, I finally have a copy of Bandit Kings of Ancient China. Oh yeah, thank you so much, John.
Bandit Kings of Ancient China is one of the most uncommon games on the NES, and I'm so excited to finally have it. But it is a military strategy game, which I've already mentioned with Desert Commander really isn't my MO, and this is a high text-based strategy type game. It's something that I don't necessarily like myself, and I probably won't play a lot, but it is very cool. It's very well done compared to some of the other Empire strategy type games, like Genghis Khan is another one. I think Bandit Kings is done a little bit better. I like the visual presentation. I kind of like the storyline they're representing. But again, it's a strategy game, not something that I've played a ton of, not something I'm gonna play, but a very, very, very cool piece to add to my collection.
So anyways, guys, that's everything I picked up this time. I want to say thank you again to Will and John. You guys are awesome. It'll just go to show you, like, I know there's a lot of negativity out there right now about the gaming community, the retro gaming community, the YouTube gaming community, with everybody talking about Patreon and Kickstarters and, this Nintendo Creators program. Everybody's going nuts talking about all the negatives. Sometimes it's nice to actually see some of the positives and see how cool and how generous people are, so thank you so much. Anyways, put all of that aside, and time for the update. So, for those of you following along at home, last time I was at 658 NES games. This time I added 3 new games, which brings my total to 661 NES games. You funny guys, you thought I was going to say 700 again, didn't you? Yeah, I messed up last month. Sorry about that. Anyways, so that's 661 NES games, and that means I only have 107 games remaining. I know January was a pretty small update, but I mean, come on! Did you see how many games I picked up in December? I picked up like 30 plus games, and especially at this point in my collection, I mean, that's a lot to pick up. So only have 107 left to go. A lot of them are really hard to find, rare and expensive games, but you know what? I'm still up to it. That's my quest. I'm going to get them all. And to tell you the truth, guys, I actually got some packages coming from a couple friends. I worked out a deal with my friend Weekend Game Guys, so I'm really excited to get that. And you know what? There's even more on the way from cool people who just decided they wanted to help me out and, pass it along. So thank you so much. Anyways, I'll stop talking now. Guys, that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. and I'll talk to you next time.
Happy birthday, Genie.